Welcome and welcome back. From time to time here on this channel, I do comment a little bit on YouTubery type stuff. I have not had a television since the mid-aughts. So since at least 2010, YouTube has been my primary agent of socialization. I'm a loner. I stay on my own. I do my own thing. So YouTube has kind of been this really sort of portal or window into the real world or things that are going on. And because I have not been exposed to mainstream culture for a very long time, my views are a little bit shifted from what it is that CNN would want for them to be. And Tim Pool recently came out with a video that was something very interesting to me and something that I thought would be interesting to comment on, something that I thought would be interesting to put my take out there for, or at least something fun to do on the channel besides reviewing The Mandalorian and taking Cosmo quizzes. Tim Pool says to do it for the culture. Do it for the culture. Do what and for whom? Do what for the culture and for what culture? Tim Pool is coming to this realization after what has been a massive year for him going into the 2020 presidential elections. You can check his Social Blade numbers. This year was massive for him. And I think anyone who is YouTube culture or has been a viewer on YouTube for any extended amount of time knows who Tim Pool is and is at least familiar with him. And he came to this realization that commenting on negative things with the culture all the time, all he's doing is feeding back into the negative loop of culture, feeding back into the negative loop of what it means to be media in today's world. He came to this conclusion and then came to the obvious Tim Pool conclusion of the fact that he could be the guy bringing rocks back from the quarry while making closet pancakes, because those are the things that Tim Pool talks about. One has to wonder in this apocalyptic future who it would be that would be creating his custom beanies, but it's hard to say at this point who that would be. That said, he's got a very good point in that commenting negatively on negative culture is just creating more negative feedback loops. My presence on YouTube worked a little bit in the opposite direction. For anyone who doesn't know, I've run this channel for coming up on a year now, but I've also run Strip Cover Lit for 5 years. For 5 years, I've been doing book reviews on YouTube. I've been doing short story reviews on YouTube. I've been doing poetry reviews on YouTube. And only in the last year did I realize, hey, things are out of control. I want to start getting directly into culture type commentary, doing things like that, as opposed to just creating culture, actually doing some commentary on culture, which is what I do with, I've done a few political things here on the channel, and I've done a few commenting on YouTube type stuff here on the channel. I came at it the opposite way of Tim Pool because my education, I have a bachelor's degree in English literature and a master's degree in creative writing. I saw this thing head on. All of my classes, look, I did not have an easy go. My entire life, all I really wanted to do was go to college. No one in my family had gone to college. I had to go out and create that for myself, manifest that for myself. Didn't know tit from elbow as far as getting started with it and how to do it. So I went to community college. And anyone who's been through the community college process knows that the community college process is basically a sham, is basically just, we're going to get you in and we're going to put you on tumble dry so that you spin around and you never get a degree. It took me 5 years working full-time plus a job, working full-time plus 2 jobs. It took me 5 years to get that 2-year degree, and I was finally able to put myself in position to move off and go get a bachelor's degree. From day one, while getting that bachelor's degree, everything in all of my classes as an English literature major was identity politics. So when I got away from that, I said, I'm not doing it. Not doing more commentary on it. I don't know how many times I got in nearly shouting matches with professors over this garbage type of mentality, all of these things that pop up in those classes for no reason. I had a composition class, English composition class, where you're supposed to be learning the ins and outs of writing good essays, where you're supposed to be learning the ins and outs of how to construct arguments, things like that, how to cite, put citations, advanced citations, things like that. My class for that, I was reading Andrea Dworkin being taught about how I'm a rapist simply because I have testicles. Because I've looked at women, I am a rapist. That is rape. It's the same thing. So when I got out of college, when I got away from this system, I said, no, not touching it, not doing it. I'm going to do strictly literature. So on Strip Cover Lit, it's all about literature. It's all about book reviews. It's all about read-alongs. It's all about short stories and poetry. What that does, unfortunately, is that absolutely kills analytics. None of my videos are any good. None of my videos are worth a damn thing if you are not reading or have not read the literature in question. There are analytic boosting things that you can do on that side of the internet. You can do a book haul. Well, I'm not much of a consumer, to be very honest. You can do a tag video. All tag videos are the same rehashed bullshit that you've seen time and time again on everyone else's tag videos. There's nothing to them. My opinions. There are people, I'm sure, that do them great. You can also do something called a Friday Reads. A Friday Reads is an absolutely worthless video in which what you do is you sit down in front of a camera and you say, well, this week I read 30 pages of It by Stephen King, and it was pretty good. I liked it. But, you know, there's that weird scene with the kids in the sewer, and I don't know what's going on. And I got some of the Walking Dead. I read some of The Walking Dead, and it was pretty good, but there was that weird scene with McCone just nailing a guy to a board. And, I mean, you know, you were there. You've read that. Absolutely, in my opinion, worthless videos. Absolutely worthless videos. But people love them. People love them. People watch the hell out of them and bless them for that. But it is not what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to create a piece about a piece. And it kills analytics. And especially in the YouTube that has presented itself lately, in which analytics are all about how many views the video gets pop as it drop. So look, these aren't sour grapes, but creating culture in the way that Tim Pool comes to this revelation that he wants to do, it's good to create culture as opposed to simply comment on culture. It's difficult. It is very hard to do. And it takes a lot more planning than, for example, commenting on culture. So we are immediately not at a standstill, but at a deficit as far as this behemoth of culture is concerned and what it would take to reverse the tides. And I think that one of the things that will help reverse the tides is people concentrating on improvement, on self-improvement for the most part. The most help you can be to the world that you inhabit is to be a stronger cog in that machine. That is part of my mission on Strip Cover Lit, because I think that literature is one of these the key components of culture that help us reflect on the self and imbue the other with personhood, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. When we read literature and we reflect on it in that primary way that literature is meant to be reflected on, we have to see pieces of ourselves in said literature. You read a good poem, it makes you reflect on the self. When you reflect on the self, you come to some conclusion. After you've come to this conclusion about the self, you work to improve the self. Once you've improved yourself in that way, whatever that way is. For me, Emily Dickinson comes to mind. I died for beauty but was scarce adjusted in the tomb, and one who died for truth was laying in an adjoining room. Once you decide what truth and beauty are to you, well, you become a little bit more serious of a person. You become a little bit more formidable in everything it is that you're trying to do, because you work to go towards what is true, what is beautiful. And you understand, in that poem at least, what it means to die for those things, what it means to be willing to die for those things. And when people see you working towards that thing, whatever that thing is, maybe you just really want to sell beer. Maybe you really are passionate about having a bar, right? That seems to be, okay, that's frivolous. You want to make money and sell beer and be around drunk people. You're working towards something tirelessly, right? People see that, and it makes them reflect on themselves. These are the little ways in which self-improvement kicks back into culture. You're wheeling up all this self-improvement, all this momentum, and it kicks back like dirt off of a tire. It's a weird analogy to use for something as positive as self-improvement. But when you're on the highway and that big truck is kicking back dirt, it fogs up your windshield, right? None of that really made any sense. But you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying, I hope, I think. Maybe. It's hard to say. Maybe I'm too in tune with literary things, and it only seems like it makes sense to me when it makes no absolute sense coming out of my mouth. But you understand what I'm saying. When you see those things, you are forced to reflect on your own life when you see someone working towards positive things that they want, no matter what that positive thing is. And it is a compounding, snowballing effect as far as culture is concerned. But make no mistake, self-improvement, improving the world around you, leads directly towards being criticized. There are people who don't want you to succeed, and when they see you succeeding, they will do their best to tear you down. But being proactive is better than being reactive. So creating whatever culture it is that you're creating whatever thing it is that you're creating whatever work it is that you are manifesting. This is more important, not just to your life, but to the lives of everyone around you and to the lives of everyone you care about. These things are important in that stratosphere, in that world, upon your ladder. If you can get to the top of your ladder, you can help pull other people up. You can help other people up the culture ladder, up the success ladder, up the ladder of what it means to be doing what it is that you want to be doing. Be proactive. Create something, not reactive to what it is that other people are saying. Because other people are always going to say bullshit about you. People are always going to say bullshit about someone who is attempting something positive, attempting to grow, attempting to move, attempting to create. In this way, when I started this channel, so I'd been talking about literature, go as high as you want, Hemingway, Shakespeare, Dostoevsky, on Strip Cover Lit for 4 years when I decided to start this channel. And when I started this channel, I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions about, why are you reviewing Marvel movies? Why are you reviewing superhero movies? Why are you reviewing The Mandalorian? Why are you doing all of these things that seem to be not really on par with reading literature? But these questions are in tune with questions that I got on Strip Cover Lit. On Strip Cover Lit, I have it's got to be 200 video series on Harry Potter. Harry Potter's not what I enjoy. I have a series on Twilight, reading the Twilight books and attempting to prove the great literature that lies within. Now, there's a couple reasons why I do this. I think that there's a lot of looking down on what it means to be a genre piece that need not occur. Look, any idiot can look at Shakespeare and say, hey, that's culture. There's culture in there. There's worth in there. That is literary. But so any ass can look at that and say, yeah, that's important. But when you decide to look at something like an Archie comic, if you can take said Archie comic and prove that there's a little bit of you and a little bit of me in this 3-panel Sunday morning comic that'll make everyone, you can take that and you can prove this bit of humanity that lives in there that will make everyone assume a little bit more serious, assume more serious things about their own life. That's scholarship. That is what it means to be serious about something. I have the work ethic and I have a little bit of ego that says you can bring me anything and I'll make you think more seriously about it, right? In addition to that, and this is going to sound very elitist on my end, in addition to that, you always want to meet people where they are to engage this conversation. Say, and I'm not saying all Star Wars fans are this way. This argument, This argument is very difficult to make when assuming without assumption. Without assumption, viewing this argument is going to seem very hoity-toity, very looking down upon other people. That's not what I'm doing. That's not the argument I'm making. But it's hard to enunciate this in a different fashion than the way I'm going to speak about it. You meet people where they are. Say there's a Star Wars fan who is not interested in anything but being part of a fandom. I really enjoy Star Wars. I want to turn my brain off and just absorb Star Wars in all this glory, in all of the Mandalorian glory that has come to us, that has been sent down from the Disney heaven above, this manna that we are just absorbing out of our TV or computer screens. I've got it on a computer. Again, still don't have a TV. I just want to put that out there. I'm keeping it real. I'm hardcore. But there are a lot of people who say, I put in all day at work. I just want to enjoy this. I want to come home, turn the brain off, whatever. The minute you can show them something in that is more interesting than they were giving it credit for, the moment you can take an episode of The Mandalorian and you can show them Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey in that, the minute you can take Captain America, the First Avenger, and you can make someone think about it seriously enough to prove to them that there's some Joseph Campbell in there. Well, what's Joseph Campbell? When you make that interesting in a different way than it is presented to them, when you can make something like that interesting in that way, they're engaged. That's how it worked for me. That's how I decided to start taking things a lot more seriously, was when a little bit of literature came into my life and I was forced to see myself in it. So what happens then? What happens then? When you say you're a real big Captain America fan, because you enjoy it, you like it, it's fun to watch, and something inside your brain flips the switch and comes on and says, oh, the hero's journey is in that. What's the hero's journey? Joseph Campbell, building towards something better. How does that happen? Well, there's these few steps along the way. Basically, you engage on an adventure and then you have to conquer it. That's the simple way of looking at it, but it's a way of looking at it. It's a way to start understanding it. Well, that happened for Captain America. But does it ever happen in the real world? Sure, it does. And it might not happen on as grand a scale. It might happen on a daily adventure while you're driving to work and you're forced to change your own tire because you hit a pothole. Something so simple as that. You've changed that tire. Now you know how to change a tire. Well, what's the next thing that might happen? You might have to change your oil. Then it becomes about building the self up. It becomes back again about being proactive versus reactive. And when we are more proactive in our lives, we are creating culture. And it can be so simple as that. Like, that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. That's what I think is a lot of the mess that we find ourselves in now. Culture is not simply who holds a Senate seat. Culture is not simply what does it mean to be a man or be a woman. That it doesn't have to be that. Culture can be so simple on an individual level as waking up every morning and knowing that there are things you have to do. That can be where culture starts. That's a little bit of what I hope to do on this channel. In addition to maybe, if not turning people from something like Star Wars or Marvel towards literature, which I think that's a door that I hope to always be open from this channel to Strip Cover Lit. I've got different playlists on this channel. One is goal setting. I think that goal setting is something that is very important on a daily basis, very important on a monthly basis, very important on a yearly basis, very important on a life scale. When you have goals, you have something to work towards. That's why a lot of people get out of high school and they fall completely off the map, right? Because in high school, goals are forced onto you. And if you don't go towards college after high school, or after college, if you don't get into a goal-oriented career, a lot of people fall off and the productivity becomes, well, I'm going to go home and watch television. And look, I'm not trying to be demeaning here. It just sounds that way because I don't know. I have a problem with that on a life level. I got to learn how not to sound that way because it gets me in trouble. But what I'm saying is, I forgot what I was saying. Without goals being instilled in your life, a lot of people never pick up along the way. You've got to set them for yourself. They don't feel empowered to set those goals in their own life because it's not introduced to them at any step along the way. In the same way, a lot of people don't know how to change oil because what do? You go and get your oil changed at Walmart. That's just what you do. Things like that. So that's why I have a goal setting playlist on the channel. I want to exhibit that. That's why I have workouts on the channel. Why I have, I'm going to be starting some nonfiction series on the channel. I'm going to be starting to read meditations here on the channel from Marcus Aurelius. I don't want to do nonfiction on Strip Cover Lit. I want to keep Strip Cover Lit about fiction. But I think that I want to do music reviews here. Movie reviews here, things like that, because I think that these are little ways in which we can comment on culture and build culture as opposed to critiquing culture, which is what it means to me, sort of to read the news like Tim does, or comment on the news like all of these commenters do, things like that. So the final thing that I sort of want to talk about as far as what it's going to take to reverse stream and recreate culture. I can't encourage everyone to start a YouTube channel. I can't do it. Sometimes it's hell. Sometimes it is a hellhole, and a lot of people will target you once you put yourself out there on the internet. And there's a lot of people that would not be able to deal with that. So I can't encourage everyone to start a YouTube channel. What I can encourage everyone to do, which is what I do. And look, like I say, I don't have a television, so all of my my primary agents of socialization come from the YouTube atmosphere, stratosphere, the YouTube culture. I can't tell you how many channels I'm subscribed to. If I see someone who is doing something that they are passionate about, I hit that subscribe button automatically, because guess what? Subscribing to a channel doesn't cost anything. And even if I never watch a video for that person, having that subscriber is a token of appreciation for me. It also gets them one subscriber closer to, and this is going to sound like a bad word. This is a bad word on YouTube. I understand. I know why. But I don't understand why. That subscriber gets them one subscriber closer to monetization. That subscriber gets them one subscriber larger when someone knocks on their door and says, hey, I want you to promote my product. It is, look, if we want culture to change, we have to empower those who are creating culture. When you have Don Lemon on CNN, Don Lemon is a millionaire because CNN pays him a lot of money. Someone who is creating videos on YouTube after work how many YouTube creators are there that would love to be in a full-time position where they are creating? Simply by adding my subscribership to that channel, by hitting that subscribe button, even if I never watch a video, it is a token of appreciation, and it gets them one step closer to that type of freedom where they could start to create more, snowball more of the culture that they want to create that will combat the culture in which we find ourselves embroiled. So a couple things that I will do, I will comment on videos, I will like videos, and those things are very obvious why. That shows tokens of appreciation. But another thing that I will do is I will, even if I'm not there to watch, I will set my phone on a playlist from a YouTuber that I support and just let it cycle through video after video after video. That is not in the best spirit of the law as far as YouTube is concerned, but it's a small thing that you can do to show support. Another thing, directly what I have to get better at, I don't trust my bank account on the internet. So I've got to figure out how to do this. But what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start budgeting a certain amount of money towards different creators through something like Patreon. So say I write out of my budget $10 a month. well, I'm going to go to Thunderfoot with $3 a month. I'm going to go to Tim Pool with $1 a month. That $1 a month from me isn't the biggest thing in the world. But what does it take for your favorite YouTuber to be financially independent? What would it take for your favorite YouTuber, and let's say it's a gamer, okay? Say it's just a random small-time gamer is your favorite, and this random small-time gamer has 2,000 subscribers. If all 2,000 of those individuals put $2 in a Patreon for this individual, $4,000 a month is more than a lot of people make in their jobs, right? So I think that one thing, life's not about money, but the world is. That's one thing I've said for a long time. Life's not about money, but the world is. In the minute that people you're supporting can support themselves doing that thing for which it is that you support them, that gamer, the minute that gamer is making enough to simply make video games and not have simply make videos about video games and not have to worry about their 9-to-5 job to pay the bills, and then they've got another part-time job because they got these student loans that are kicking their ass every month. All of these things take away from what that person's doing and trying to do to create culture. And it is a bad word to talk about money, right? It is a something that feels very icky and very sticky, and get it away from me. Why are we talking about money? But I think you can see the difference using Tim Pool again as an example this year. Tim Pool has fairly obviously been full-time on the platform for a while. Tim Pool has 2 channels now, over 1 million subscribers, and he's cruising towards a third. 3 million subscribers. When you're talking about I think he's doing most of this stuff strictly off of AdSense. I don't think he's doing any sponsorships. I don't think maybe he has a Patreon, I don't know. He's doing all this off of AdSense, which is very difficult. When he's got all of that influence, you can see his content pick up and get better this year. He has become able to distance himself from simply reading and commenting on news reports. He's been able to distance himself from all of the identity politics things. And I think we're going to see a much improved Tim Pool moving forward. Someone who's doing things that are more interesting than rubbing his beanie and reading stories. Why do I talk about this? Because, I'm trying to think of, what is his name? Milo something Milo. One of my favorite YouTubers creates history content on YouTube. I'm trying to find his channel right now, but he creates these videos, and he's also got a full-time job. He's also a full-time father. He's doing all of these things, and he only posts recently like once a month. If he were full-time YouTube, I guarantee you he'd be doing a lot more videos than that and creating a lot more interesting content. What he does is right now, he's sitting in front of a camera and reading a script that he's worked up, which I can't blame him for that. But the moment that I can support him enough and his subscribers can support him enough that he's full-time on YouTube, what he's doing, it snowballs, and he's creating more interesting content that will be able to catch individuals who are not quite as interested in history as am I. So when he's able to ensnare those less interested in history viewers, they become more interested in history. Because his Stefan Milo, Stefan space Milo. Once these people are more interested in history, they're taking that a little more seriously. They're learning life lessons from history as opposed to simply living their day-to-day life where they may not examine something quite so deeply. This is my mission with Strip Cover Lit. This is my mission here on this channel when it comes to, so on Strip Cover Lit, it's all about literature. here when it comes to my goal setting videos, when it comes to reviewing movies and whatnot. I think that these are the steps towards building more culture, rather than having a culture which is dead set on tearing itself down. That is all I have for this video. Hopefully some of this made some type of sense to someone, and it was not just the ramblings of a madman for 30 minutes. But this is my channel where I talk about music and movies and goal setting and working out, things like that. Hit like and subscribe if you appreciate this sort of thing. If you read books, you like short stories, you like poetry, things like that, or you want to become more interested in those things, go over to Strip Cover Lit. I will try to pin a comment in the comment section below from Strip Cover Lit, so you can just hit the icon. But go over there and subscribe to me there. Hopefully, look, I have positive feelings about this. I am not quite so negative about the world being in as destitute a place as I was. I think that a lot of people have woken up, as it were, have become a little bit more in tune with the things that are going on, and maybe more aware of the things that they're doing in their lives that is negatively or adversely affecting the world in which they live, even on a daily basis. Like your workplace. Think about your workplace. If you go in there with a negative attitude because of the politics of the day or whatever, your workplace sucks more, right? That is tearing culture down. I want to look at culture as a positive word, so that all of these negative things become anti-culture. It's not culture to be a negative culture. It is anti-culture. It is counterculture. It is against culture. It is culture. It does not render culture. It tears culture apart to be negative in those ways. But that is all I have for this video, and I hope I've got videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here. I've got videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Strip Cover Lit. I hope to see you not only here, but on that channel as well.